Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a bit of a review and a rant. So once again, welcome back. Like I said, today's video is a little different because I just have a lot to say about a book I just finished and what goes along with it. So before I get started on anything else, I am so sorry in advance if this video is a little unhinged. I haven't done anything in the way of planning for this video. I am relying solely on the notes I took while reading this book and a little bit extra that I just popped into my brain. So sorry if this is kind of all over the place, but I feel like this is something important that I want to say. And yeah, so let me tell you what I'm talking about. So I just finished reading Swipe Up for More: Inside the Unfiltered Lives of Influencers by Stephanie McNeil. 5 stars, highly recommend. I really enjoyed this. Stephanie McNeil is a journalist. She writes for BuzzFeed News, but she's written for other outlets as well. And she actually focuses on writing about influencers and bloggers and the like. This book follows 3 influencers and how they started and how they became successful and kind of where the industry is going. So it gave me a lot to think about in regards to the book community. From this point on, when I use the term bookfluencer, I'm talking about booktubers, bookstagrammers, book talkers, book twitterers. I don't know if that's like a big thing. I mean, I know book Twitter is, but I don't know if people solely have that. It doesn't matter. Any social platform that people use to talk about books. So I'm a little nervous to make this video because I certainly don't want to burn any bridges or, make anyone upset, particularly publishing houses and PR companies that I work with. However, I feel like someone has to say this because I just don't think that this is really being said by many people, and it really got me thinking. Bookfluencers need to be paid at some level. I understand that getting free books is cool, and of course, I am so grateful when I get books that I've asked for and I get to read stuff early, and that's all really fun and that's really exciting. However, there is a time where I've come to realize that can be kind of draining. I've certainly taken breaks from posting on my Instagram and, I guess on my YouTube, but I don't really feel like my following here is big enough that my absence is noticed too much. But the world of bookfluencing is so different from other niches that I feel like it's kind of just being swept away and a little bit taken advantage of the people creating the content. So again, always grateful to get books, but sometimes it's a little insane what a company or a publisher will want you to do. It almost feels a little manipulative sometimes, like here's a free book, but I need you to post a reel and a story and just a regular static image on your feed, and I need it to include these things. And that's a lot of requirements for something that I'm doing for free. Again, I think from publishers specifically, those requests are not as frequent. It's generally from PR companies who are paid by the publishers. So at that point, I don't know necessarily how I feel about it because it's clear that publishers have budgets to promote their books, but they're being paid to PR companies who are then asking us, the bookfluencers, to do the work for free. And it just rubs me the wrong way, especially after seeing in this book how much influencers can make by promoting products. My Instagram, my Bookstagram, is the biggest platform that I have for my book content. I have a little under 17,000 followers, which isn't huge, but it's also not nothing. And I generally get some pretty good opportunities as far as books I can read and review for free. And just books that they want me to promote from different publishers, and that's really cool. And for a while when I was first starting, it was really, really cool because I just never imagined that someone would send me books for free. As I said, most of the time from big publishers, they don't necessarily have requirements regarding reviewing or posting about it. It's generally like, if you liked this and want to talk about it, use these hashtags. But at the same time, I feel like there's a certain expectation there that if you requested this book or said yes to a publisher sending it to you, and then you get it and you don't read it and you even unhaul it later, like that is something ungrateful, or just like, I don't know, maybe this is all in my head, but it just, there's certain expectation or sort of obligation that I feel when I get books in the mail, because I know that the company has looked at my profile and been like, this is a good fit, I'm gonna send you this book, whatever. The amount of time spent reading and reviewing and taking pictures or whatever per book is the ratio to how much the company is like losing out on by sending me a free book if I don't do it is like crazy. I mean, I did a little bit of math, and it's not like complicated math because no. But for me to read a 300-page book, I would say it's somewhere usually around 6 hours. Add on top of that, probably at least an hour for me to sit with my thoughts and write a meaningful review, to take a picture that I am satisfied with for my Instagram, and to post my review to my Instagram in addition to Amazon and Goodreads and Barnes & Noble and any other review sites, is at least, another hour. When you take that time and divide it by the $30 it costs to buy a new hardcover book, that's less than $5 an hour for all that time. And I'm not saying you have to be paid for reviews, because I don't want that to seem ingenuine. However, I think there's still a sense of, why am I doing this for free, especially if it's a book that I don't know if I would absolutely have read otherwise. And maybe that's a me problem. Maybe I need to be a little more harsh when it comes to what am I choosing to read and how many books am I saying yes to being sent. I feel like I'm pretty good at knowing what I'll like and what I won't like, but I also feel like there's a lot of books out there that I don't get sent, I purchased, and then I somehow feel guilty about it because I have all these other books that I feel like I should be reading. Like I said, this video is all over the place. I don't even know like what I'm talking about a little bit, but it's just a weird thing where there's just so many influencers out there getting paid for the same kind of things, reviews of a product, and I don't necessarily think they're ingenuine. If I read a book and I don't like it, but I've committed to posting about it, I will tell the publisher, I will tell the contact I have at the PR company or whatever, I didn't really like this. I'm happy to do just like posting a synopsis and telling when its published date is or whatever, or I could post nothing, but I just want you to know like this wasn't the book for me, and that's fine. I don't think that's disingenuous. I don't think that's being shady to your followers. I don't think that getting paid for a book review is anything that is dishonest, especially if it's disclosed. I mean, the FTC has rules about this stuff. Lots of people only post about books they enjoyed anyways, just because they want their bookfluencer space to be only positivity. And you know what? That's their prerogative, and that's cool, and got no issue with that. But I think at the same time, you can't really fault any influencers for saying, I was paid for this review, here's my thoughts, if it's good, and thinking that it's ingenuine. I don't know. Again, kind of just talking all over the place, working through my thoughts while I talk. I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to is that publishers have the budgets to promote these books. They have the budgets, and they just are choosing to use them other places than on reviewers. And I just think it's time that changed. I've been a bookfluencer for just over 3 years now, and I can count on one hand the number of book reviews or book content that I've been paid monetarily for. It's just kind of sad at this point that the people out here doing the work aren't getting paid for it. The hashtag Bookstagrammer on Instagram has over 91 million posts. That's saying something, and that's saying how much little guys like us have influence over the bookish market. I mean, there's so many books that I wouldn't have read if I hadn't seen someone else post about it. And so that's bringing back revenue to the company, that the publisher. And it would be really nice to be able to see a little bit of that, especially when there's a book that I feel really passionate about. I mean, I know like several books that I have talked people into buying, and it would just be nice to get a little kickback from that somehow. I don't know. I don't really have a solution per se as like how this should all pan out, but I just think it's something that needs to be looked at. I know this might to some people look like, who does she think she is talking about getting paid for books? That girl, she's nothing. But I mean, I'm really not only talking about myself. I do enjoy reading books, but I find myself sometimes when it's a book that I have committed in one way or another to reviewing, getting close to the end and being like, oh my God, what am I gonna say about this book? Because some books you read and you like it, but you just don't have that much to say. And if I'm gonna have to, work pretty hard, think pretty hard to make a educated and intelligent review out of, it would be nice sometimes to be able to see something in return. It's true that there sometimes really isn't much of a budget, and for independently published books or just really small publishing houses, they might really not have much of a budget to work with you on. And those are things that I look at on a case-by-case basis. However, it's just not something I want to make a habit of anymore. I mean, I put a lot of time and energy and thought into the reviews that I write and the posts that I make. And in addition, I feel like I'm not trying to say that I have it any better or worse than anyone else, but like I really have to plan my content because I travel so much. And I need to make sure that I have whatever book that I need to review for whatever thing like with me so I can start it and make sure it's done by a certain time. I need to make sure my content is made, my pictures are taken, even if I haven't read the book yet. So it's just, there's a lot of planning that goes on that's involved for me. And I don't know, personally, I'm happy to do it. If it's, an indie author that's just starting out, I'm really excited to read their book. That's your choice. I mean, I'm happy to do that for free, and it's totally my choice to do that or not. But when these big publishing houses have the budget and just choose not to use it on the people promoting their products, I just don't like that. I definitely don't want to throw shade, but I recently was happy to be asked to work on the street team, which is basically what they call like the group of bookfluencers that are going to help get the word out about a book before it's released. It sounds like a great book. The author seems really cool, really nice. However, in retrospect, I wish I hadn't said yes, because the amount of work that they're asking people to put in for free is just unacceptable. I mean, like, I don't want to sound dramatic, but it really is not fair to ask people to do like an unboxing post, a cover reveal, a book review, and then, other huge stuff once the book is released for nothing. I mean, for a free copy of the book. Additionally, I just want to mention that a lot of times when you get sent a book to review, you get the ARC copy, the advanced reader copy, which is not even like a finished hardback. So sometimes you're reviewing a book for not even what's worth $30. Anyways, this was all over the place. I'm sure I have way more things that are going to come to me and I'm going to wish I had put into this video, but I think you've listened to my unhinged rant for long enough. I guess I didn't really make this too much of a review, but this book is awesome. I really, really loved it, and I definitely recommend it. If you have any interest in influencer culture, it was a really quick read, and want to get riled up like I did, definitely check it out. You've listened to me rant long enough, but I do have one more thing to say, that there's nothing wrong with not getting paid for this stuff either. I will certainly keep reading books that I'm sent to review because I was going to read the book anyways, because I like the books. And I'm certainly grateful for all the stuff that I've gotten and all the books that I've received in exchange for nothing and the possibility of a review. But at the end of the day, at a certain point, this takes up a lot of your life and a lot of energy if you really commit to it. And at that point, I just think influencers in other niches are much more readily paid without this whole like back and forth, we don't have a budget, yada yada. So I just think it's time that bookfluencers, book bloggers, it becomes more common anyways. And again, no criticism to anyone who wants to do this for free, because that's really, that's why we're here, for the love of books. However, someone's getting paid for what we're doing, and it's not us. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. I know this video was all over the place, but if you stuck it out to the end, I really appreciate it. If you like this video, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!